It was basically garbage, thrown away, destined to spend its life with the dregs of society. We brought it back and put a loud, shouty engine in it and built up what could be described only as the ultimate Jeep, hard on petrol and fun to drive. I give you the ultimate Hemi Jeep. You know, whether you've built an entire Jeep like we did here, or simply swapped a locker and a set of gears into your trail truck, or maybe you just bolted a cold air kit onto a minivan, there's nothing quite like that last bit of the job. When it's all done, last bolt goes in and you're ready to test it out. A little bit of anxiety, a whole lot of excitement, and some adrenaline all mixed into one. Nothing beats that feeling. Now, we've done a whole lot of work to this TJ, and before we take it out and find out if it fills all of our needs, let's find out how it all began. The idea was simple. Pick up a cheap, used TJ and build a truck that not only we could drive every day, but one that we could take wheeling out on the weekends. We found ours at an automotive recycler called Davies Jeeps. It was a complete 2003 TJ that had been written off by the insurance company because of some slight damage to the rear quarter panel. Jesse and I did what any good off-roader would do and covered up the damage with a set of crusher corners. Then stretched the wheelbase to 100 inches. Slipped in a set of solid 44s, front and rear with 35 spline axles, ARB air lockers, and chrome moly shafts. Then set the entire truck down on a set of 14-inch coilovers, 40-inch tall KM2 tires from BFGs mounted to the new aluminum bead locks from Allied Wheel. To make this Jeep truly extreme, we then swapped in a 24,000-mile Dodge pickup 5.7 Hemi. We bought it online and performed a 50-state legal engine swap. Then finally, we bolted up the new Atlas 4-speed transfer case behind our automatic. We did some research on this vehicle and tried to eliminate any weak link that could possibly fail on the trail by adding things like CTM U-joints in our axles, ARP high steer studs, and an Atlas rear support ring. We put on a Kilby steering box skid plate to protect our steering box, and then finally added the off-road only dual rate sway bar kit. Now this little sway bar here will really tighten up the Jeep's handling when we're on the road, but it has a small air cylinder mounted to the one side. Flip of a switch on the dash, and it'll disengage. The truck will flex like a monster when it's on the rocks. Now, it always seems that the drive shafts are the last thing to go into a project, and with our TJ, that'll be no different. Now, it was a pretty complicated setup because our drivetrain was pretty long, and when we measured the droop out on the rear shaft, it came up at just over 37 degrees. But the guys at Real Driveline were able to help us out. They hooked us up with a super short rear shaft with a high angle CV that they were able to machine to match that droop out so it won't bind up. Now, the nice thing about the CV is it'll help eliminate any vibration in our rear shaft. Because of the CV in the rear, we had to change the output on our Atlas from a standard 1350 U-joint to the new flat flange. Up front, it's a simple 2-inch DOM tubing drive shaft built to handle the abuse off-road. Now, if you guys remember, the windshield in this truck was pretty banged up. It got hit with something during the accident, had a huge chip and spider webs over the whole thing. So we had it taken out and replaced with one of these speed glass rock glass windshields from Quadratec. Now, this is a Lexan glass with a clear coating over it to keep it from getting scratched. Now we don't have to worry about our windshield breaking when we're out on the trail. So now you know what we started with. You certainly know where we are right now. And now all we have to do is take this truck out and make sure that it fits the first need that we were after, and that is driving every day.
Coming up, we'll pay off our Hemi TJ on the road and on the rocks. Just how much difference will V8 power make on the trails? Stay tuned to find out.
We're back on Xtreme, ready to give our ultimate Hemi TJ a shakedown run. Now, we rarely think about street driving when building a project, since how a truck works off-road is always more important to us than how it handles on the street. But this TJ is different. We built it to drive every day, and that means it has to have good road manners. The new BFG KM2s were very quiet. Sure, there was some noticeable tire noise, but nothing that would drive you crazy over long distances. With a 4-link in the rear and the 3-link up front, all 100% custom, we were worried that driving at highway speeds might be a challenge. But the suspension geometry achieved with the kit from Gen Right Off-Road, the Jeep handled highway and interstate speeds safely and comfortably. Obviously, you won't be street racing this Jeep with Corvettes and Mustangs. Even though we now have 345 ponies under the hood, it honestly has the aerodynamics of a shoebox. It's square where it needs to be round and round where it should be square. But that doesn't mean you couldn't jump in this Jeep and drive it every single day. And I don't just mean down to the corner store for some milk. You could honestly drive this Jeep for hours. You could jump in this thing, drive it cross country, wheel it on some iconic trails like the Rubicon, or head to Moab for the Jeep Safari. And you could jump back in this thing and drive it all the way home. No tow rig, no trailer. It's honestly that reliable. Having the new Hemi under the hood was great. The extra horsepower and torque really helped the Jeep at highway speeds. You don't feel underpowered ever. And occasionally, it's fun to hear those 40s burn it up a little. Just idling at about 1,500 RPM. This engine isn't even working to keep this truck moving. This is the kind of day when you want to own a Jeep. Sun's out, nice and hot. Everyone wants one of these on a day like today. The only thing better than this is this. Now go. This is why you guys are selling your tow rigs, trailers, and buggies. To build multi-purpose rigs like ours. And when we come back, the other equation to our ultimate TJ project. We'll hit the rocks, the sand, and even do some night wheeling. It's mean, it's green, and it's proved itself to be more than capable on the highway. Now our Hemi Swap TJ will prove itself off the asphalt. The guy that we wheel with all the time, I wheel with him on my spare time, is here with us today, Troy Slaughter.
What's up, buddy?
Good to see you again,
How
pal.
you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. Troy brought along his girlfriend, Cindy, some hardcore wheelers from Louisville, and an experienced off-roader from Nashville, whose near bone stock TJ will try and keep up with us. Our guide is Brent Mann, along with his daughter, Savannah, and their puppy, Elvis. They are members of the Damn Locals, a southern club who leases the land we'll be wheeling on today. It's a big piece of land, Ron, right?
Yeah, we've got probably about 4,000 acres, somewhere around in there, 3,800 to 4,000.
So it's easy to get lost if you don't know where you're
Oh
going.
yeah, I get lost down there all the time, man.
November through January, this property is primo hunting land. And out of season, the clear-cut sections, dry creek beds, and even an abandoned sand quarry make for the ultimate playground for Damn Locals Club members to wheel their junk. Perfect for our multi-purpose Hemi TJ experiment. Now we're not even sure a map would do any good on these logging roads, so we're trusting that Brent knows where he's going. Damn Locals.
What?
Now I know why they're called the Damn Locals. When they drive you through the woods for 3 hours to find a trail, you're going, damn locals. Damn. Are we there yet?
Oh man, I can see it in the lens. That's bad.
I'll tell my boss that I've been using this. It's just one of the hazards of working for Xtreme 4x4, I guess. But I'm going to clean this off before the owner of the camera sees it.
Three hours later, we finally hit some good obstacles. And right away, we noticed that the TJ's 14-inch coilover custom suspension front and rear made this Jeep way more flexy than any off-the-shelf kit could. Go! Yeah, it was a lot of extra work, but once in some serious rocks, all that hardcore fab makes this Jeep really shine. With a Hemi under the hood, you really have to concentrate on your throttle control. Now go. The Magnaflow exhaust sounds awesome, and that combination of sound and power, they're quite addicting. Now we knew right off the start that we were kind of pushing the limit with this truck, running 40-inch tires on 44s. The nice thing is we got killer ground clearance underneath this thing. We're not really rubbing a diff or getting hung up at all today. Now we are right at the edge of possibly breaking some parts, but with having the CTM U-joints up front, 35 splines in the rear, and knowing when to turn off the locker to make a good turn without putting the suspension in a bind is key to keeping that thing all together with a big tire on a small axle. With daylight becoming scarce, we motored down to a remote part of the property where 10 years ago, this sand quarry was jammed with earth movers and dump trucks.
Tell me about this rock.
This is stupid rock. It's just loose rock. It's like dumped here. It's like we're in Iraq. The only way out that is to just frickin' launch it. Night wheeling is a blast. It adds a whole other dimension to trail riding. The sun is done, heat of the day is gone, and you really have to rely on your lights to see everything. Sand dunes! I love sand dunes! We're back on Xtreme in the middle of the payoff of our dual-purpose Hemi TJ. Now ours isn't the only capable off-road Jeep on this trip. Our buddies' rigs are also highly modified for this hardcore terrain. Troy Slaughter has built and rebuilt his Jeep YJ a half a dozen times and wheeled from Moab to Tellico. But this time, his girlfriend Cindy commands the wheel.
I'm not as
Ready to roll.
as scared as I used to be, because I would never want to ride up a big hill. And now I'm like, bring it on. It's all me. It's all me. I'm starting to try to take it easy on the gas. But yeah, my first initial instinct is to smash it and go.
She's been a good student. She likes to get a little gas, or you get a little, you know, being that your first time out, you get a little nervous from time to time. My Jeep is pretty flexy and it likes to lean over quite a bit. When it gets a little bit on, you know, like it's leaning over a little bit too much, you can kind of see every once in a while that she's getting a little bit nervous, and I think the first tendency is to hit the skinny pedal and try to straighten it out, and sometimes that does work sometimes. Other times you have to think about the next step and where the tires are going to be placed on the rock so that it'll pull everything back over the right way. And she's getting it down. She's doing a great job.
Woo! Good job, honey. All right, Kevin, you came out here with pretty much a stock Jeep. Tell me a little bit about it.
It's a 2000 model. I bought it about 2 months ago. It's slightly equipped. I think it was a 2-inch lift that it had on it when I bought it. Changed from the stock 8-inch wheels up to the 10-inch, and a few little add-on performance parts here and there, but other than that, it's pretty clean in stock. My plans are to push it and see how far I can go with it. I'm sure I won't be able to keep up with y'all, but hey, it's all fun. When I first saw those huge rocks, I thought there was no way. I started to go around it.
Hold on.
Then when I started looking a little closer, I found a way in, but I couldn't see a way out.
Roll on up. Go, go.
But then again, with a spotter, it helps you work your way out of it.
Hell yeah! Woo! Nice job, man. I wanted your first time to be a little bit memorable.
Hey, it's great,
Hopefully,
man. Wonderful.
That's a little taste of what it's all about.
Now back to our Hemi TJ. Just like Kevin Stalker, we drove our puppy 2 hours to get here, and so we have to drive it 2 hours to get back, which is why we took the time researching and removing any weak links from our Jeep, from the ARP high steer studs all the way down to the Atlas support ring. We can honestly say it was well worth it. Thanks for the spot, Troy. This time I listen. Now, if you plan to build a Jeep like our TJ and you're gonna drive it home after the end of a day of wheeling instead of throwing it on a trailer, there's a couple things you gotta remember. Most important part in that Jeep is right here. It's your own head. Use it for something other than keeping your ears apart. If you got the wheels turned all the way one way, keep your foot out of it. That's when parts are gonna break. Trails like this are ideal for dual purpose rigs. You can crawl on this all day long and you don't have to worry about breaking any parts. You still have lots of fun. He left me here. Wait up, man!